You kneel on the cold tatami, the heavy weight of the black lacquer debt seal pressing into your future. The matron watches from the shadows, her ledger open to the page that legally owns your breath. Does the registry define your worth, or is it merely the paper cage for your painted smile? You were 5 when you entered this world, a small currency exchanged to settle a family burden. The wooden walls of the Okiya close in, sealing you inside a life of rehearsed perfection. Your days are measured in hours of pain, the shamisen strings cutting deep into your young fingers. The master strikes the floor with his cane, demanding a grace that your tired body cannot find. You learn quickly that tears ruin the white powder, so you weep only when the face is clean. The registry records every bowl of rice, adding it to the mountain of coin you must repay. Your big sister adjusts your obi, pulling the silk so tight that it becomes hard to breathe. She whispers that beauty is pain, and silence is the only shield against the watchful house wardens. You practice the art of pouring sake, turning your wrist to reveal just enough skin to intrigue. The matron marks the ledger again, the scratching of her brush sounding like a lock clicking shut. You see the friend crying in the courtyard, holding a letter from a home she can never visit. The black lacquer debt seal appears on her door, a reminder that she belongs to the house. Years pass in a blur of seasons, measured only by the changing patterns on your expensive kimonos. You debut as a Maiko, walking on high wooden sandals through the admiring crowds of Gion. The rival watches you from the balcony, her eyes narrowing as you capture the attention of the patron. You smile behind your fan, knowing that every movement is a calculated deposit into the registry. The flower code demands absolute obedience, punishing any girl who dares to dream of a life outside. The patron offers you a cup of sake, his gaze assessing the investment he is about to make. You pour for him, your movements precise, hiding the trembling in your hands under layers of silk. The matron nods approvingly from the corner, calculating the price of your company for the evening. You realize that your charm is a product, carefully manufactured and sold to the highest bidder. The rival spills tea on your best kimono, a subtle act of sabotage hidden behind an apology. You bow and accept the insult, knowing that anger is a luxury the flower code does not permit. The dresser helps you change, his silence a comfort in a house filled with whispered betrayals. You return to the party, your smile brighter and more brittle than it was the hour before. The registry grows with every mistake, adding penalties for stained silk and broken hair ornaments. You lie awake at night, counting the years it will take to erase the ink from your name. The friend whispers of a plan to escape, to run past the gates where the house wardens stand. You warn her that the world outside has no place for flowers that have been cut from the garden. She shows you a map, hidden inside her flute case, marking a path to the river. You feel a cold fear, knowing that the registry has eyes in every shadow of the district. The matron summons you to the main room, her face a mask of calm authority. She asks about the friend, her voice soft but heavy with the threat of the flower code. You bow low and say nothing, your loyalty torn between your sister and the cage that feeds you. The house wardens bring the friend back before dawn, her kimono torn and her spirit broken. The matron stamps the black lacquer debt seal on her final bill, doubling the sum she owes. The flower code is absolute, turning every act of rebellion into a heavier chain of gold. You watch them cut her hair, the symbol of her status falling to the tatami floor. She is sent to the scullery, her debt now too large to be paid by dance or song. The rival smirks as she takes your place at the banquet, capitalizing on the shift in power. You realize that in this world, compassion is a weakness that the registry exploits without mercy. You bury your guilt under layers of white makeup, painting a new face that feels nothing. The patron returns, impressed by your icy composure in the face of the household scandal. He offers to sponsor your collar turning, a promotion that binds you tighter to the district. You accept the honor, knowing it is just another beautiful knot in the rope around your neck. The matron presents the new contract, the black lacquer debt seal waiting for your thumbprint. You press your skin to the paper, signing away your future for the promise of present security. You become a Geico, replacing the red collar with white, your status rising within the hierarchy. The rival tries to undercut your price, spreading rumors about your loyalty to the house. You counter her moves with silence, letting her own ambition expose her lack of grace. The tea mistress favors you now, giving you the best rooms and the wealthiest guests. You learn the secrets of the powerful men who visit, listening while you pour their wine. Information becomes a currency more valuable than the coins tracked in the registry. The patron speaks too freely of his business, forgetting that a painted doll has ears. You memorize the names and numbers, locking them away behind your mask of white powder. The rival steals your favorite hairpin, hoping to disrupt your focus before a major performance. The registry punishes imperfection, and a missing ornament is a flaw the flower code cannot forgive. You improvise with a flower from the garden, turning the theft into a statement of style. The audience applauds your innovation, unaware of the sabotage that birthed the new trend. The rival fumes in the wings, her petty trap having only elevated your standing. You begin to see the cracks in the walls, the fragility of the power held by the matron. The dresser slips you a note from the friend, who is fading away in the kitchens. She begs for medicine, her body failing under the weight of the labor she was not built for. You use your tips to buy what she needs, passing it through the shadows of the courtyard. The house wardens catch the dresser, dragging him before the matron for the crime of theft. He takes the blame to protect you, claiming he stole the coin for his own vices. The matron exiles him, stripping the house of the one quiet ally you had left. You stand alone in the hallway, the silence now deafening without his steady presence. The registry is cruel, but it is the people who wield it who leave the deepest scars. You decide then that you will not just survive this cage, you will own the key. You cultivate the samurai, a man whose influence outweighs the rules of the district. You feed him the secrets you gathered from the patron, giving him leverage in the court. He looks at you with new eyes, seeing the strategist beneath the layers of silk. The rival attempts one last strike, accusing you of breaking the flower code with a lover. The matron demands an inspection, looking for proof of a scandal that would ruin the house. You present your calendar, every hour accounted for by the most powerful men in the city. The house wardens step back, intimidated by the names listed in your personal diary. The rival is shamed for her false accusation, her standing plummeting in an instant. You look at the matron, holding her gaze for the first time without bowing your head. The samurai offers to buy your contract, not for love, but for the value of your mind. The matron refuses, citing a clause in the registry that binds you for another decade. She points to the black lacquer debt seal, claiming the interest has compounded beyond his offer. You realize the debt was never meant to be paid, only serviced until you expire. The system is designed to keep the most valuable assets locked inside the vault forever. You retreat to your room, looking at the papers that define your existence as property. You recall the specific wording of the flower code regarding the transfer of liabilities. The registry tracks the debt of the person, but the person is defined by the name. Your name is a title owned by the house, but your debt is attached to the seal. You find the loophole in the inheritance laws regarding the adoption of a successor. If you adopt a successor, the debt transfers to the new name, clearing the old one. But you have no daughter, no apprentice to take the burden of the black lacquer debt seal. You look at the rival, who is desperate to regain her status after her disgrace. You offer her your name, the most prestigious title in the district, for free. She accepts greedily, blinded by the glory and ignoring the fine print of the transfer. The matron approves the adoption, eager to secure the legacy of the house's top name. The ceremony is held, and the rival signs the papers with her own blood seal. The house wardens witness the transfer, sealing the massive debt to her new identity. The moment the ink dries, you are legally stripped of the name and the crushing liability. The rival realizes too late that she has inherited not just the fame, but the chains. The matron gasps as she reads the updated ledger, seeing the math shift against her. You stand up, no longer the top Geico, but a free woman with no name and no debt. The samurai smiles, impressed by the elegance of your bureaucratic maneuver. He hands you a pouch of gold, payment for the secrets, which is now yours to keep. You walk to the gate, passing the friend who was scrubbing the stone steps. You drop a coin, enough to buy her a train ticket, into her bucket. The house wardens do not stop you, for you no longer exist in their book. You step out of the gate, the air of the city tasting different than the air of the district. You leave the kimonos, the wigs, and the white paint behind in the gilded cage. The black lacquer debt seal sits on the desk, binding the rival to a lifetime of service. You walk toward the river, your face bare to the wind for the first time in years. The art was beautiful, but the freedom of being nobody is the true masterpiece. You disappear into the crowd, a ghost in plain clothes, finally owning your own breath. The okiya continues its dance, but you are the music that stopped playing. You look back once, seeing the lanterns glow, and you keep walking into the dark. Systems of control often rely on your attachment to the identity they created for you. When the cost of perfection is your soul, the only winning move is to walk away. Will you remain the painted doll, or will you wash off the face to find yourself?